understand, who are having a good knowledge of soil mechanics.
So thank you, thank you. So just to sum up, for any superstructure, I think foundation is very much important. So if your foundation is strong, probably your superstructure is going to stay there for a long time. If your foundation is weak, I think the superstructure will become weak. So yeah, just to
Yeah,
add,
the best.
yeah, so
One more
just to
thing
add,
I want to make. One
please go
more
ahead.
thing I want to make you another. If your body is standing, if your leg or the foot is very strong, the foot is nothing but your foundation. Your leg or knee, whatever, that is called as a column. If your foot is not, if it's damaged, then your whatever the body parts is strong, also it will collapse. Then you will become handicapped. So
Yeah.
better you have to maintain your things very. So similar way you have to analyze for the soil also. Soil won't give a call, have a problem. The problem can only inspected and visualized only with the expert. That's why it's to call geotechnical experts. So you have to feel that when
Yes.
you're designing.
Yeah, I agree, sir. So geotechnical investigations are very much important, especially for the big infrastructure projects. I think if we neglect the geotechnical parameters, I think they are going to, suffer terribly, miserably. So I think there have been many instances wherein structures have undergone distress and failure because of because of the foundation failures or because of not considering the geotechnical parameters in a right way. So, because of shortage of time, I think we'll be stopping the session here, sir. I think if there are any queries, I'll be sending you the questions through email. So probably you can give us the answer to those queries. Thank you so much, Naveen sir, for giving us, the overview of the foundation strategies. Sir, over to Velumani, sir. If you have anything to add, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, and thanks for your head of the department and your coordinators who have given this opportunity. And I'm sure these students have enriched their knowledge by seeing the practical application. Yeah, if any students are willing to work on this topic, you please feel to contact me. Thank
Yes,
you. Thanks a lot.
okay.
Bye.
Yeah. Velumani, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Naveen sir, for your time with us.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, students, please be in the same link for the session 2.
Sir,
Students, please be in the same link
yeah, yes,
for continuing the session 2.
yeah. Sir, can I go ahead and make an announcement, sir?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, sir. I'll just announce. So I'll just announce what you said, sir.
I say the students to stay in the same link
Okay, okay,
for
okay. Right,
session
sir.
2.
Right, sir. I think another 2 minutes. I think the next speaker will be joining us, sir. I request all participants to stay back. Next to 2 minutes or so, the second speaker is joining us, Dr. Sridhar, professor at SJBIT. We'll be speaking on sustainable architecture building methods. Just give us 2 minutes. I think we are coming back. Please stay back.
Yes, we'll start the session 2 in another 2 minutes.
Sridhar sir, can you hear my?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think yeah, your voice is audible, sir. Sir, we were just starting in a minute or so, sir. I request you to wait for a minute. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much for joining.
So welcome Sridhar sir for today's session.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Participants, so the speaker for today, Dr. Sridhar sir, professor at Department of Civil Engineering, SJB Institute of Technology, has joined us. So we'll be starting in a minute or so. Kindly asking you all to be, asking your friends to probably join. If somebody who has left the session, please ask them to join immediately. Yeah. Velumani sir.
Yes, Professor.
Sir, we'll start, sir. I think we'll start.
Yes, we can.
Okay, right, sir. So before Dr. Sridhar takes over the session, I would like to introduce you all to Dr. Sridhar. So I welcome Dr. Sridhar for this session. So he'll be speaking on the topic sustainable alternative building materials. Before Dr. Sridhar takes over the session, I would like to introduce you all to Dr. R. Sridhar. Dr. Sridhar sir is presently working as a professor at Department of Civil Engineering, SJB Institute of Technology. Dr. R. Sridhar is a unique person who has worked as a researcher, who is also an academician, who also has worked as an industry practitioner. So it's a rare combination wherein you get a person who has got the experience of a research academician and also as a industry practitioner. So he has completed his PhD from in the field of geotechnical engineering from BTU. He did his Masters of Engineering in Structural Engineering from BU. His bachelor's degree in the year 1982 from BIT. So as on today, he has got an overall experience of around 27 years. So he has started his career as a site in charge at a property development corporation, where he was involved in the construction of apartments and site execution related works. Later on, after finishing his masters, he joined Fosroc Chemicals as an application engineer, and he has also worked as the technical manager at Roffey Construction Chemicals between 95 to 99, wherein he was involved in as a technical manager at construction sites and projects related to industrial flooring, grouting, waterproofing treatments, construction joints, and expansion joint treatments. He has also worked in Nippon Road Company. It's a joint venture of Japanese firm with the BBMP as a project manager, involved in the construction of Adugodi Madiwala bituminous road construction, and he was also involved as a engineer in the rehabilitation of the bridge between 1999 to 2000. So in the year 2000, he started his own consultancy firm, Manasa Buildcraft, and having office at Mysore and Bangalore. And with this company, he has been able to execute various projects related to repair and rehabilitation of structures. Some of the projects to name Zenith Textiles at Nanjangud, Precision Tools at Hepagodi, Epoxy Flooring, Mantri Group, Bannerghatta Road, expansion joint treatment, the waterproofing treatment of the main bus stand, KSRTC main bus stand in Bangalore. So the waterproofing of the Lalit Mahal Hotel at Mysore, Himalaya Trucks at Bangalore. So he was also involved in the waterproofing work at Baba Atomic Research Center, Mysore campus, Coffee Board Research Center at Balehunur, and Kormangla Sports Village, and many more. So when it comes to the academics, he has worked at KIT Polytechnic and Venkatraj Institute of Technology between 94 and 2001. So at East West Institute of Technology, he was involved in handling the PG course, and he has also worked as a chief coordinator for the PG course in structural engineering. Later on, he has also worked in Alvas Institute of Technology and Nagarjuna College of Engineering and Technology as a professor. Before moving over to Venkateshwara College, wherein he was involved in various capacities as a researcher and in various consultancy works. Presently, he also works as a visiting faculty at Christ Engineering and Sahyadri College of Engineering, Mangalore. So, he has been involved in the setting up of the various labs at various engineering colleges. He has also worked in the as BOE in VTU, and also as a valuation coordinator. To his credit, he has guided more than 30 MTech students. So he is also guiding many students for PhD. To his credit, he has got more than 30 publications in reputed international and peer-reviewed journals. So he is also a reviewer of various journals, Earth Science Research Journal, Geological Engineering Journal. So he has membership in various professional bodies such as Institute of Engineers, Federation of Valuers, Association of Consulting Engineers, IGS, ICI, Instruct. So without wasting much time, I would like to hand over the session. Dr. Sridhar sir, over to you. We are looking forward to your presentation, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you for your detailed thing.
Sir, please share your presentation, sir. Please share.
Okay. How it is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay.
You can make the slideshow also, sir.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. I think you are all sixth semester or eighth semester students.
They are second year and third year students, sir. Fourth semester and sixth semester.
Okay, okay. So I am Dr. R. Sridhar. I am presenting sustainable alternative building materials for you in the on this one your workshop. Welcome to online learning. Okay, I am happy to present this topic. What are the things I know from the industry and also as far as academic concern, I will present you today. Okay. So, what is this alternative building material? What is the need of this alternative building material? So, alternative building material building materials, there are a lot of demand are created because everybody wants to construct their residence, own residence, commercial buildings, commercial complexes, apartments, industry, all these things. For that one, the building materials are needed. But drastically, what are the natural resources is available, it is become they are exploiting the natural resources for manufacturing of building materials. So, unless if you stop exploitation of the natural resources, already you know what is the natural resources. Okay, I think I don't want to explain all these things. Natural resources already you know, the energy, solar energy, all these things you know already. Okay. So whatever the building material you will manufacture from using natural resources, you have to stop or you have to minimize that one. You have to find the alternative route to produce the materials by the available resources, any other resources. Okay. Or renewable way. Renewable means you can use it later also for recycling also. So, next, the resources used to manufacture construction material affect the environment. I already told. Okay, depleting natural resources using energy, and that will releases pollution also, pollutants. So, first of all, you will consume or you will exploit the natural resources, and also we are releasing pollutant to the nature. So the two ways you are exploiting the natural system or ecosystem. Then also some of the things, the traditional building materials for the various industries are aggravated the situations. So it is necessary, serious necessity to find out the sustainable. What is the sustainable means? It should be eco-friendly, eco-friendly or environmental friendly materials. You have to use, you have to encourage. Okay, that is called as this alternative materials. So these are all the needs of alternative building material. So what are the advantages? Better functional efficiency. It has got better functional efficiency than the conventional materials. What are the conventional materials you are using? It is better functional efficiency. Then cost effectiveness. It will be cheaper than the conventional material. Then better durability than the conventional material. Then ease of construction, easy way of construction compared to conventional techniques. Then better finish than minimum wastage. So this is very important. Minimum wastage will be there in from the alternative building materials. Then less maintenance cost. Then minimum defects. Then less energy intensive. I will explain regarding energy, embedded energy. I will explain in the later slides. So the basic approach should be suppress the, or control the pollution at the source in the nature or ecosystem rather than its reduction once generated or caused. Okay, first of all, in the beginning only, at the source only, you have to stop the pollutants, production of pollutants or producing of pollutants. Then environmental protection activities aids in reducing damage to the environment. There are two benefits from the alternative building material. First one, to control the pollutants and also environmental protection. These are the two things will be main things for the growth of or scope of alternative building materials. So already you know how you are exploiting the nature for our needs. For example, coarse aggregates. Already Bettalsur, already you know, I think in Yelahanka Road, the airport road, international airport road, Bettalsur already consumed lot of resources for manufacturing of this, production of these aggregates and other things. So you have to stop all the things. You have to find out the alternative materials for the building construction. So all these things, dust, dirt, and you have to control all these things. So this is the way you are doing. You are taking out all the greenery part from the environment. Okay. So you have to reduce these things, the disturbance to the environment you have to reduce. So this construction materials consumptions, it will grow. You can see from this graph, or bar chart, at the 2017, this is the scenario of using sand, gravel, and crushed rock. 2060, this units has been increased a lot, up to 55, approximately up to 55 units. It will increase us at the time of 2060, year 2060. So metals, all these things, the projection is increasing from 2017 to 2060. Okay, wood oil, all these things. But the major part is from sand, gravel, and crushed rocks. Okay, so you have to find out alternative materials for sand. Already found out. Okay, you are using so many materials. I will explain in the later slides. Okay. The research is continuing to find out further alternative building materials. So construction pollution is happening from the emission from steel, cement, and building. When you produce cement, the pollution will take place. Steel pollution will take place. Then building construction, because of building construction pollution. So you can see here 4.6 plus 3.3, 7.9, 8 billion tons of carbon dioxide will be releasing to the environment. When you compare the other things, okay, this is also the major percentage of production of carbon dioxide. The production of carbon dioxide, it will affect the environment. You have to reduce the production of carbon dioxide. So it should be our policy should be reuse whatever the things materials are there. You have to reuse it. If we cannot reuse the materials, okay. So you have to recycle that one. What is recycling? Recycling is a modification of the old material. That is recycling. Or if reuse and recycling, if it not happens, then you have to dispose these things safely without enduring to the or spoiling the environment. This is the basic thing you have to learn: reuse, recycling, and disposal to material. So these are the segments. Transport, from transport also the energy will consume. Okay, you have to reduce the transportation. How to reduce transportation? You have to use locally available material for the construction. Okay, by that way we can reduce the transportation cost and also fuel cost. So these are the culprits are spoiling the ecosystem. 25% of solid waste and 20% of liquid waste are becoming pollutant to the environment. Then 25% of water usage and 30% of all raw materials is resource utilization you have to make. Then over consumptions of the materials of the natural resources, 40% of energy consumptions you are making, that is over consumptions. Then because of overpopulation also, the need or the requirement become demand, it is increasing day by day. By that way, all the construction activities are geared up. So many buildings has been constructed. Because of building construction, materials are needed. Where the materials coming from the nature only, from natural resources only. We are again exploiting the natural resources. So it will cause us environmental impact. So because of environment, we cannot tolerate, okay, the continuous blow from us. So it will also show its action. by tsunami, earthquake, okay, all these things, floods, all these things. So you have to be keep in this mind, you should not disturb the environment for our over consumption, for our over need. Okay, you have to minimize the resources, use of resources from the environment. So the agriculture, these are all the different sectors. You are using the natural resources. By that one, the pollutant are producing that are spoiling the drinking water. Then forest productivity, minimizing of forest productivity. Okay, all these things. Then also atmospheric effects, the bad effects of the industrial emissions, then fire, all these things. The environment is disturbed by that way, so you have to minimize the resources consumption. So this fuel, material, all this fuel you are using, materials you are using for the construction. By that thing, by the construction, again the waste materials will form. By this using fuel and materials, you are disturbing the environment. So climatic change will happen. So rain, the period of rainfall will also affect. So by that way, the ecology will affected by the this environmental resources exploitation. So you can see here one of the area in China, Beijing. This was the when rainfall took place. At that time, the picture has been taken. Then afterwards, because of pollution and air pollution, the smoke has been formed over the building, with the atmosphere. So you can see the change, the clarity you can see. So this should not happen for the this environmental aspects. This is not the good thing. So you have to. So why I am explaining all these things? You should be serious to know that how the construction activities are exploiting the environmental resource or natural resources. So these are all the bad effects of the construction activities, ecological toxicity is poisonous things are producing from this construction activities, ecological degradation of ecology, then global climate change, then ozone depletion, that ozone layer, it is affecting ozone layer, the thickness of ozone layer is reducing, then acidification, acid rain. I think you read in the newspapers and TV, acid rain, then deforestation, then soil erosion, then loss of biodiversity. For biodiversity, the living beings, so many animals and creatures are not, they are not there, they are not in picture now. So many animals, already you know all these things. Okay, then water resources depletion, that is the pollution occurs to the water, water pollution, air pollution, all these things. So this is the drastic change will occur after effect of this all construction activities and exploitation of natural resources. Then I will come to this embedded energy. What is this embedded energy? This embedded energy of the building material, whatever the energy you used for the production of the building material, that amount of carbon consumed, that is called as embedded energy. Okay. In the simple manner, the energy consumed for the manufacture, extraction and transportation of the building material. So you have to take it into the account whatever the energy you spend for the extraction of the raw materials, then manufacture of the building material and also transportation of building material to the concerned site. So types of embedded energy: initial embedded energy, recurring embedded energy. The initial embedded energy in a building represent non-renewable energy consumed in acquisition of raw materials and their processing, manufacturing, transportation at site. So whatever the material comes to the site, that consume the initial embedded energy. Initially, that whatever the energy consumed for the building materials. Okay. In this thing, the initial embedded energy, there are two types: direct energy, then indirect energy. Direct energy, the energy used to transport building products to the site and then to construct the building. Direct, that is direct energy, transportation cost, other things. Then indirect energy, the energy used to acquire, process and manufacture the building materials, including any transportation related to these activities. Process and manufacture the building materials. The indirect energy, direct energy. Direct energy will be the energy used to transport building products. That is visible. Indirect energy, it is not direct way. It is indirect way. That is called as indirect energy. Then recurring embedded energy. What is this recurring embedded energy? In building represent non-renewable energy consumed to maintain repair. This is after the construction of the building. After the construction of the building, you will use energy to the maintenance, for the repair and restoration, or replace, refurbish or replace of materials, components or system during the lifespan of the building. So every building has its own lifespan. So concrete building, before it was 100 years, now it is reduced to 60, 50 years. Okay. So to make it comfortable to live for its lifespan, you have to maintain the building. If possible, if any requirement is there, you have to repair it, you have to restore it, or you have to replace the components of the building. All these things. So recurring means after the initialization, periodically you have to spend energy for all these things. That is called as recurring embedded energy. So how is embodied energy measured? So you have to, I told embedded energy, how we can measure it? We can measure it, whatever the quantity of the energy consumed for the production of the building material, it will be measured in megajoules or gigajoules or unit weight or per area. Okay. These are all the complex things. You have to take all the aspects of at the time of production of the building material, whatever the energy consumed, all the aspects you have to take, you have to carefully, you have to calculate the embedded energy. What is the use of calculating the embedded energy? You can compare the materials, whatever the materials has got minimum embedded energy, you have to use in the buildings, the sector. If the embedded energy embedded energy increases, that means you are again exploiting the environment or natural resources. So you have to use minimum embedded energy materials. So I already told the standard unit for embedded energy, megajoules per kg. Then standard unit for carbon emission at the time of production, transportation, all these things. This is carbon dioxide liberated or produced per kg of material. These are the gauge to measure the emitted energy, then carbon emission. So the choice of materials, then how you have to choose the material for the building construction. What are the aspects? If you construct the building, you want materials. What are the things you have to consider? Thermal properties of materials you have to consider. Then structural properties of the material. Structural properties means compression strength, tensile strength, shear strength, all these things. Thermal temperature, temperature variant or temperature resistant materials. Then the cost. The three aspects you have to see, but energy aspect, energy implication, that is embedded energy is also I told embedded energy, minimum embedded energy in material also you have to consider for the construction of the building. So the implication of mineral extraction to derive the basic product. So how the building materials be produced? First, extraction of the rock for the production of aggregates, coarse aggregates, then and also dust. So for other materials, coal and other things, you have to use as a fuel for production of cement and steel. So you will extract the coal. So that how you are exploiting the natural resources. Then pollution will occur. I already told all these things. Then toxicity of the product. Okay, in manufacturing process, that will toxicity will produce at the time of production of the building material or any other material, but you are concerned to building material now. So global warming will take place. Then life cycle recycling option at the end of its expected time. So you have to consider the life cycle, lifespan of the material, and also recycling options. You have to reuse the material already you have consumed, but after sometimes demolition of the, for example, demolition of the building, if it took place, so you have to take out the aggregates from that one, then the reinforcement steel bars from the demolished building will take place, then you have to reuse for the some of the unimportant works we can use it. Because why I am telling you an unimportant works, because it has already the strength of the materials. Once if you use the materials for the building, the strength will reduce us. So that reduced or strength reduction materials you have to use for minimum important works, building works. So the energy consumption in the building occurs in 5 phases. Okay, 5 stages. The first phase, manufacturing of building materials and its components, which is termed as embedded energy. Already you know what is this embedded energy. Then second and third phases, that stages corresponding to energy used to transport materials from production plant to building site. Wherever you produce the building material, you have to transport that one to the site, building site or construction site. So the energy used for the transportation also you have to consider. Okay. Then second and third, that one. Then fourthly, energy is consumed at the operational phase. That is service period of the building. Service period of the building, whatever the energy, that is maintenance, repair, all these things. That is service period. Energy used for maintenance and repair or restoring of the building. Then finally, the energy will be consumed for the demolition of the building. Whenever the building life has reduced, if it is not fit for usage, so that building should be demolished. Okay. So for demolition also, the energy will be consumed. So that is the fifth stage of energy consumption. So in the assessment of partial product life cycle, we have to consider all these things. Again, I am repeating: extraction of raw material, transportation to the factory, that raw material, then maintenance of the product or manufacture of the product, then assembly of the product system, assembling some of the materials you have to assemble that one, that is furniture, all the things, then transportation to the site, construction site, then installation, then maintenance of that one, replacement after life of that material, you have to replace it, then disposal, whatever the material, it is not fit for use, you have to dispose. For all these things, we require energy. So these are all the process of extraction of the raw material, then transportation, then to the factory, okay, material refining, then again for other factory for the finishing of the material, then package, then products formation, and then distribution, for distribution by the way of transportation only to the construction site. Last it come to construction site. So for all these things, energy is required. So you have to calculate all these things. You have to calculate. So by that way, by calculation of this embedded energy in the building, okay, embedded energy in the material, it is individual. Embedded energy of the building, you have to consider all these aspects. 5 stages of aspects you have to consider embedded energy of the building. So these are all the different segments of the energy usage in the building. Okay. Embedded carbon, how it will produced in the manufacture, raw material extraction and transportation, and then usage, at the time of usage, all these things. Up to end of the life of the building, the energy will be used. So these are all the total energy used for the different purposes: site work, flooring, external finish, wall construction, internal finish, roof, and then fitting. So these are the total energy. For wall construction, you can see here 36% of the energy will be used for the wall construction when you compare other things. Because the building blocks, whether it is a block or a brick, will consume more energy for the production. Okay, and also installing. So how much embedded energy is typically found in buildings? For the structure, the embedded energy, 24% embedded energy will be consumed. Envelope, that is the finishing of the building, cover, envelope, covering of the building or finishing or architectural features of the building, elevation features of the building, consume 26%. Then service providing 24%. Then site work 6%. For the construction 7%. Then finishes 13%. So average total initial embedded energy will be approximately 4.82 gigajoules per meter square. So when selecting the building material, the emitted energy should be considered with respect to these are all the other factors or the parameters to consider the selection of the building materials, the durability of the building materials, whether the building material is durable when compared to other alternative thing, then how easily the material can be separated. So in the steel structure, you can separate the beams, columns, slabs, panels, all the things. Okay, in precast also you can separate it. So this is the question: how easily you can separate the material? Why you have to separate the material? So if any component of the building, if it is not working or it is spoiled, it is damaged or it is failure, so you have to replace that segment from the building. Then use of locally sourced material, locally available material you have to use for the building construction. It will reduce the cost of the construction and also it will reduce the emitted energy. Then use of recycled material. So once material used, you have to recycle that one. That use of recycled material you have to take it into the account. Then specifying standard sizes of the material. So the material standard sizes, whether it is available, it will fit into the building component, you have to see. Then avoiding of wastage. So whatever the building materials that will not produce the waste or minimum waste that produce, you have to take, you have to select that building material. Then selecting the building material that are manufactured using renewable energy resources. Renewable means that alteration of the energy, one form of energy to the other form of energy, you have to you should you have to convert that option, whether it is that material, specific material, whether it is having or not, you have to consider. All these things are important for the building construction or selection of the building material. So emitted energy of the common materials are given here. For example, plywood 10.4, medium density fireboard it is 11.3, hardboard it is 24.2, PVC it is 18, then plastic, general plastic it is 90. So if you compare, the hardboard is 24.2, plastic is 90. What is the meaning of that one? So for the plastic production and other this thing, we have spent more embedded energy. If embedded energy value increases, so we are using the energy, more energy for the production of the materials. The plastic material consumes production, the energy, more energy. So the comparison has been given for the carbon emission of the three common building material to understand the stage or the scenario of the carbon emission. Please note that the data are based on metric tons, 1000 kgs. So 0.2 metric tons of carbon emissions will be from the concrete production. From the concrete production, 0.2 metric tons of carbon emission took place. For the wood, 0.4 metric ton carbon emission. For the steel production, it is 2 metric ton. So first we have to find out alternative material for the steel because it emits more carbon to the environment. That is not the good sign. So carbon dioxide in construction, embedded carbon dioxide emission arising from creating, maintaining and demolishing the asset, that materials and also the building. So operational carbon dioxide, there are two stages. I already told this thing, embedded carbon dioxide emission at the time of maintenance and demolition asset. The operational means the service period of the building, whatever the carbon dioxide emission took place. Okay. Then, so we have to look for the sustainable materials for the construction of the any structure. The sustainable material, what is sustainable material? Is any material that can be put to effective use in the present without compromising its availability for use by later generation. So that the general or the simple meaning is without exploiting, or we have to exploit the natural resources because there is no any other way, but we have to minimize the exploitation of the natural resources. By that way, we have to produce the building material, or the at the stage of production of the building material, what are the raw materials available, we have to minimize that raw material from the nature. Okay, that is called as the sustainable material, renewable, and also these materials are recycled material. Okay, it should be recycled and also it should be reused, whether it should be recycled or it should be reused. That type of material is called as sustainable material. These are all the significance of sustainable material. The effect of production of the sustainable material to the environment, it is minimum, and also it should be recyclable and reused. Why it should be recycled and reused? So you have to minimize the production of the waste material. So disposal of waste material also, I think you read all these things, solid waste management, all these things you are, I think you are reading in 6th semester, correct? So it is the practice of increasing efficiency with which buildings use resources, energy, water, and materials while reducing building impact on human health and the environment. Overall, the building, if it is eco-friendly building, so for the eco-friendly building, you have to use the natural resources, that is energy, water, and materials in correct way. As this earth population increases, so you have to construct more and more buildings and other infrastructures. So you are exploiting the environment. So you should avoid all these things. So green building concept will arrive because of all these things. So green building materials can help to create more sustainable, healthful, and ecological sensitive buildings. So you have to minimize the natural resources, this thing, raw materials. Then green building concept we have to adopt in the building. Then the pollution should not take place. You have to minimize the pollutants. Then guidelines for reducing embodied energy. What are the things you have to follow to reduce the embodied energy? Design for long life and adaptability using durable and low maintenance materials. You have to produce low maintenance materials. So low maintenance materials means energy used for the maintenance will become minimized by using low maintenance material. Ensure materials can be easily separated. So I already explained this thing, components, damaged components you can refix easily, reinstall easily, and also you have to minimize the waste materials, then modify instead of demolishing or adding, you have to modify the structure of the building instead of demolishing. Demolition is the last option. You have to modify or restore the building. ensure construction waste and material from the demolition of existing materials are reused and recycled, use locally available material, select low embodied energy materials, all the guidelines that are to reduce the embodied energy. So again, the things are put in the different form, okay, same meaning in the elaboration form. So some of the materials can be reused, some of the materials in their form it can be reprocessed. So aluminum can be reused again for the construction purpose. So emitted energy percentage for reuse it is more, reprocessing it is less. So and also in the case of steel reinforcement and glass products, reprocessing is less. Reuse of building materials commonly saves about 95% of emitted energy that would otherwise be wasted. So you have to reuse the building material. So again, you have to take the benefit of that building materials already used second hand. We will call it as second hand building materials in general words. So properties of eco-friendly building materials and its techniques. What are the features of or significance of this eco-friendly building materials? Locally it is available, then minimum embedded energy, then reuse of waste products, then biodegradable, reuse, recycle, all these things. I will go to building, what are the different materials. So selection criteria already we have discussed. Aesthetic quality, some of the features you left. Aesthetic quality, you have to see durability, ecological impact, embedded energy, performance, social impact, cost, renewable energy should be non-toxic, biodegradability. Then what are the fundamental principles? Structural design efficiency. I will go to this thing directly. What is structural design efficiency? You have to, in the designing aspect only, you have to see that the energy consumption to be less. So architectural uh, features, you have to see that that building should be use the energy for the power consumption, other things should be minimized. So what are the natural resources, natural thing that air, then light is available, you have to use in the building liberally. By in that way you have to design the structure, that is called as structural design efficiency. Then energy efficiency. So again the natural light and air it should be available for the building without using electricity and other form of the energy. Then water efficiency. So rain and water harvesting, all the things you have to adapt in the building. Then waste water management, whatever the waste water is there, you have to recycle it, then you have to reuse it for the gardening and other things, that is water efficiency. Then material efficiency, reuse and recycling of the material. Then waste should be reduced at the time of construction only, okay, you have to reduce that one. So what are the green building materials? So we'll go directly. Uh, so bricks, then blocks, stabilized compressed earth blocks. Will go directly into that one. Wool bricks. By wool, will produce the bricks. These are the advantages. 37% more strength than the burnt brick. It is resistant for the cold and wet climate. Then hollow concrete blocks. Already you are using it. Concrete blocks. Okay, this is also, it has got good finish, and also it is cost effective, low maintenance cost, and for the outdoor elements it can be used. Load bearing, it is load bearing, and it has got good strength, fire resistant. Then it is thermal proof or sound proof, then economical, then environmental friendly, because fly ash, the waste material fly ash will be used as a raw material in this one. And fly ash bricks are also available. These are all the alternative building materials you can use for the building than the conventional thing. And advantages: construction saves construction cost, less water seepage, less energy consumption. Then this one more, the raw material, the material used for the production of the concrete and the mortar, rice as ash. Rice as ash is the byproducts. That 1 ton is produced for 5 ton of rice paddies. Okay, it will produce. It is a waste material. You can use it as a pozzolana. Pozzolana means that cement-like material. Instead of cement, alternative material for the cement. Okay, you can use risers in some percentages in the concrete. Then sustainable concrete by using crushed glass, wood chips, and other materials for the concrete, instead of regular or conventional coarse aggregates and fine aggregates. All these things. So there are the replacements are there for every material. For the cement, replacement is there. For the coarse aggregate, for the fine aggregate, replacement is there. Then the paper from the cardboard, you can use it. Then that is insect resistant, fire retardant. Some of the advantages. Then the one more material, ferro cement, is there. That ferro cement has got the components are cement mortar mix, then skeleton steel, then steel mesh. These are all the cement mortar mix. The specification, the material specification, ordinary Portland cement should be used. Then sand should be ordinary river sand. Allowable maximum grain size is 2.36 mm. The finest modulus, already you know from the BMT lab, the finest modulus 2.5 to 3 should be there for sand. Then admixtures you can use. The admixtures, already you know what is this admixture. That is the fifth ingredient for the concrete or the mortar. It will gives more workability and also strength, and also it will give more one special property to the concrete or the mortar. That is called as admixture, plasticizers, super plasticizers. Then skeleton steel will be used. Steel mesh will be used. These are the specification. Then these are all the types of wire mesh. Will use types of wire mesh as a reinforcement to the ferro cement. So what are the benefits of ferro cement? Low construction material cost, ease of using this construction activities, low ongoing maintenance, then safer one, then long operation life. Then also one more material, the ferro cement. I think some video is there. Afterwards, you can see that one. Then veneer is the flooring material. The tire veneer, whatever the waste tire material is there, we can make it into mat. You can use for the flooring as a flooring material. Then advantages, the environmental responsive flooring materials. Okay, then also it is durable. Then one more material, alternative building material, plastic wood. The plastic wood will be manufactured by HDPE, that high density polyethylene. Okay, it is recovered or recycled product. This will be commercial name is plastic wood. Okay, plastic wood. This is the these are all the form of plastic wood. It will be used for various components of the building instead of the concrete or the mortar or any other conventional material. These are the advantages. So I have to go fast. I think I have to finish it at 1:30 or 1:15. Okay, reinforced fiber concrete. Reinforced fiber concrete. So I think it will take time. The video reinforced. So this is conventional concrete. So it has to take tensile stress, compression stress, all these things. So if you reinforce it, this conventional concrete will be more powerful than the conventional concrete. How? By using the different types of fibers. Different types of fibers, we can make the concrete more durable, and also it will take more stresses very effectively. So this is the mesh form of reinforcement. Then some steel fibers also in fiber form or mesh form. The material will be sandwiched within reinforced within the concrete. This is mesh form. Whenever the load is applied, so it will be flexible enough to take that load. So whatever the stresses are there, effectively it should take. So conventional concrete, the cracks will take place. If you use fiber reinforced concrete, you can minimize the formation of the crack. Next, properties of fiber.
I request all the participants to bear for a minute or so. I think that due to some technical glitch, Speaker Dr. Sridhar sir has logged out. So he is coming back. I request you all to be bear for a minute or so. Dr. Sridhar sir is connecting back. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think Sridhar sir has connected back. Sir, Sridhar sir, please carry on, continue.
Yes, proceed, sir. Can you hear our voice?
Yeah, I think Sridhar sir has, yeah. Yes, sir, we can see your PPT, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Sridhar sir. Sridhar sir, Sridhar sir, you have muted yourself. You have muted yourself. Kindly unmute. Kindly unmute. Sridhar sir, kindly unmute yourself. Kindly unmute yourself. We can't hear your voice. Kindly unmute yourself, sir. Sridhar sir.
Let you call him, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sridhar, Sridhar sir, kindly unmute yourself.
Hello,
Yes,
now
sir.
you are hearing?
Yes, sir. You are audible now.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay, slides are visible, no? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is
Yes,
visible.
okay, okay, thank you, thank you. So these are the properties of fibers: aspect ratio, amount of fibers, shape of the fiber, orientation of the fiber. All these things will affect the strength or the performance of the fiber reinforced concrete. Fiber reinforced concrete. What is fiber reinforced concrete? Some fiber materials will be used in required form or fiber form or the mesh form, that is called as fiber reinforced concrete. It may be steel fiber. I will show all the things. There are different types of steel fibers, mainly steel fibers, different types of fibers, mainly steel fibers is one. It has got more toughness and also it is costlier than the other fibers. Then glass fibers also available. Then asbestos fibers. Then synthetic fibers are available. And also natural fibers also available. That fire coir and jute, other things. So what is the benefit of this fiber reinforced concrete? So this is the plain concrete when stress and strain diagram or the graph as drawn. This is the plain concrete. This is the failure of the plain concrete. If you use the fiber reinforced concrete with high fiber volume, that is more fibers, then it will take more stress, then its performance of the material, that concrete material, will be utilized 100%. So you have to go for fiber reinforced concrete. This is the benefit of fiber reinforced concrete. So without fiber, this is the situation. The cracks will form, then failure of the member. If it is the same material for the same load, that's different, that fiber reinforced concrete for the same load, the minimum cracks pops. Okay, instead of failure, some minimum cracks will fail for the same load. So the advantages, I will because of I think I had to finish up within 1:30, so I will go fast. So these are the glass fiber reinforced concrete panels instead of usual ceramic one. You can go for this glass fiber reinforced concrete panels wherever the requirement is there. Then fly ash, it is also one of the material, that waste material. You can use it for the construction activity, that materials production for the blocks and also concrete. Advantages, all these things are the advantages. Then bamboo, yes, so one video is there. I don't want to again, right? Okay. Anyway, this is the bamboo material. It will be used as the reinforcement in the building. So selection of bamboos. There are all the type of bamboos cannot be used. There are 1,500 species of bamboo are there. Only certain species can be used for the construction process. The typical column construction by the bamboo reinforcement. This bamboo reinforcement, the different dia or thickness of the bamboo has been used here. Then flooring also different types of alternative materials are available. Waste from the materials, flooring tiles has been produced. And flooring, I already told, this bamboo can be used. Wool form of carpeting form will be used for this flooring purpose. Waste-based flooring, forest stewardship council, this is FSC certified flooring. Whatever the guidelines are available from the forest stewardship council, okay, that follows, that material follows, then that is called as FSC certified flooring. And that wall finishes by the paints, that low and zero VOC paints. VOC paints means volatile organic compounds are less. You can see here low order, flat and zero VOC paints. Nowadays from Asian paints, Berger paints, all are low VOC content. VOC means volatile organic compounds. The volatile organic compounds that will affect the health of the human being and animals. So if you use minimum or zero VOC paints, you can avoid that health hazards. You can control health hazards in clay plaster also. Then wall finishes, different types of environmental friendly wall finishes, natural paints are available nowadays. Till research is going on for the further requirements, for the special requirements. Then triple glazed windows. These are all the alternative building materials for the special purposes. An alternative to the wood. Then some other materials. So these are all the comparison between normal clay bricks, fly ash brick. Okay. It is light in weight, less porous, less the water absorption is less in compared to normal clay brick. 20 to 25% is a normal clay brick. Here it is 6 to 12%. Then for conductivity it is more, it's less. Then next, compressed earth block bricks. So this is the procedure. This by this machine, the compression like the block machine, composite block machine will produce compressed stabilized earth blocks instead of conventional bricks. You have to use these bricks, these blocks, and see the picture of the manufacture of stabilized blocks. So this is the cost comparison of stabilized block and standard bricks. Stabilized blocks it is available at 16 rupees per block, but standard brick it is 35 rupees. Then fly ash burnt bricks is also one of the type of bricks available. Then marble slurry bricks, then ferro cement wall panels, then rad trap bond. There will be trap or hollowness will be there between the bricks or blocks, that is called as rad trap bond. The reduction in brick consumption by 25%. Use rad trap bonding system can reduce the brick consumption. Reduction in mortar consumption. It has got good thermal consumption. Then equal strength and same stability when compared to conventional one. Then concrete roofing tile instead of other mango tiles, you can go for concrete roofing tiles because mango tiles it consumes at the time of production more number of firewoods. That forest, the exploitation of the forest can reduce by using concrete roofing tiles. By this way also cement you have to use it, but other type of alternative cement materials if you use by you can produce concrete roofing tiles. And ferro cement roofing tiles is available. Then bamboo mat boards, then bamboo material for the different purposes. Bamboo roofing sheets. And here the two-story building has been compared with the eco-friendly structural system and conventional structural system. So it will be reduction in the cost and also it is eco-friendly. You will achieve two things. One is eco-friendly, another one is cost reduction in the construction. So these conventional materials, what is the alternative material for clay paver blocks and other things? Precast concrete, fly ash pavers, you can use it for the payments. For the steel furniture, brickwork, precast models instead of that one, steel work, natural stone walls, other metals, you can use it. Then compound walls, cast in situ concrete instead of concrete, precast units you can use. Then walls, the pillar materials, brickwork or fly ash blocks instead of that one, rad trap, bond brick masonry you can use it. Then for frame structure, RC frame structure is conventional one. For alternative materials, hollow blocks, fly ash blocks, you can use it. For sloping roofs, mangrove tiles instead of mangrove tiles, that concrete and precast, all other things can be used. Then comparison to material techniques, environmental impact material that this tiles will be used, it will be cost is 1.66 rupees. Same thing, it will be, I think this is 1,112 rupees the cost, conventional. So cost reduction, 37% of the cost reduction, you can make use of these alternative blocks by using alternative blocks. So in all the system or all the segment of the building, You can use the eco-friendly system, wind turbine. You can use, these are different form of energy, wind energy, the solar energy, all these things. Then what rainwater harvesting, then windows, and also you have to provide skylights to consume more solar, that natural light in within the interior building. So these are the different alternative building materials and building techniques, that straw bale house, then concrete insulated panel homes, earth homes, rubber tire house. This is cheaper. Then earth sheet house. This earth sheet house is nothing but whatever the waste materials available, it will be used in the construction of the building. So these are all the earth sheet house. Earth sheet house. Then this is available. This is the pneumatic panels. This building or the structure, it is used by the pneumatic panel. Pneumatic panel, it is nothing but the compressed air. It will be used in the material. So that type of thing is pneumatic panels. This is ethylene terrafluoro ethylene material used in one of the building in UK. Also ETFE, in short form it is ETFE, provides excellent heat and chemical resistance. Then this one is nanomaterial structure used by the nanomaterial. Then self-healing concrete. Self-healing concrete is nothing but whatever the cracks it forms, it only that building component or wall component only itself, it will take care. It will avoid the formation of the crack. It will patches the crack. When water seeps through, it can avoid cracking and other this one that caused by the water and chemicals. Cracks will form because of the chemicals and water intrusion into the structure. Then bendable concrete, it is also available by using special material for the concrete. Then sweating rooftops. Sweating rooftops means that one layer of the rooftop, it will absorb the water when it is raining, when it rains, and afterwards it releases. Whenever the temperature of the building it rises, at that time it will releases the water. That way it will cool. It will give the cooling effect to the floor or the other components of the building. These are all the different applications of this alternative building material: transparent, translucent concrete, LED concrete, different kinds, photochromic glass, thermochromic glass, then electrochromic technology, then opaque technology. The dressing room, whenever it is required, it will switch off is transparent to opaque. So traditional green building in India, Avama, this is the traditional one, Golconda Palace. And this is the Rajiv Gandhi International Airport. It is one green concept, built by green concept. Olympia Tech Park by green concept. Nokia in Gorgon, Nokia building. Okay, these are all the things. Then thank you very much for your patient listening of my presentation.
Thank you, Sridhar sir. Yeah, I think you have given a overview of what actually is sustainability, what is embodied energy, how do you calculate it. So you have also compared the various embodied energy of various building materials, and you also gave some examples of the various building technologies, latest technologies which have been practiced, which are being taken up elsewhere. So thank you so much, sir. I think it was a very nice presentation. Yeah. So I have a question. I have a question.
Okay, I'm thankful to all the faculty members of Civil Department of BMSIT to given this opportunity. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Sridhar
Have a
sir,
nice
for your
day.
time
Thank you,
spent.
sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have one question. Sir, I have one
Tell me,
question.
sir.
Sir, why is that? I mean, stabilized mud block.
Okay.
I mean, why is it not so popular, sir? What do you think is the reason, sir?
So
Because
every material it has got its own limitation.
hmm,
Some of the thing is it may absorb more water if the raw material is not good. So,
so
alternative in the alternative building materials also there are advantages and disadvantages. You have to take wherever the benefits are more or advantages are more. You have to select that type of alternative building material. Okay, sir.
right, sir. Sir, out of context, one question. So, just to as a suggestion or as a advice, what is
Okay.
that advice you would like to give to the pre-final year students? Because you have also worked as a practitioner. You have been working in the industry. You have been a researcher. You also are an academician. Where do you think our students should probably focus so that they become a successful civil
Successful,
engineer?
okay, career. They can build up the career. So
Yeah,
first of
yeah,
all,
career.
okay, sir. As per my experience, the students should develop the practical knowledge instead of the academic. Academic thing also important. The basic things, what is concrete, what is this designing aspect, using this all the standard codes, all these things. But also you have to visit the sites, going on the ongoing sites, construction sites. There you have to see the performance of the concrete, then production of the building materials, the precast materials. So you have to gain the knowledge from the, in the this practical way. That is my advice. And also you should be capable enough in the practical way to answer the questions in the interview. So these future or if the scope is it will be more when compared to the conventional, the academic, the theoretical oriented students.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think you will agree that if the students take up the internships seriously and they learn in a proper way, I think they can surely develop themselves, sir. Right, sir?
It is very important. They should not produce the fake certificates.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
really they should go to the sites and they have to work there, they have to gain the knowledge, they have to take the experience that will be beneficial to them only, not for the college.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree, sir. I think that's what I think students should take up the internship seriously. They should make sure that they go to the construction sites. They should work as an employee, not as an intern, sir.
Yes,
Because
sir. Yes, sir. Correct,
they start
correct.
working as a part of that organization
Yes,
or as
yes.
an employee. That's when they will become accountable. So when they are accountable, I think they'll be exposed to the problems and that's how probably people will learn. So they have
Yes, sir.
to get into the difficulties, problems. Probably that is what is going to help them in a long run. I think
Yes, sir.
so.
In longer way, that is very important. Practical
Yes,
aspect and knowledge gaining.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think, and they should interact
Yes, you
well.
interact with the engineers, architects
Yes, sir. Yes,
in
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
site
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and
Yes, sir.
other laborers, workers.
Yes, sir. That's what I think. They should interact with the different skill people
Yes.
like engineers, as you have said, engineers,
And
architects.
also, whenever this technical talk is there, whatever the workshop is there, they have to ask more questions.
Correct,
Uh,
sir. Correct. Correct. Correct.
by
They
that
should
way, they
interact.
can gain
Yes,
the
sir. I
skill.
think.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I think we'll wind up this session, sir. I appreciate your commitment and you've given us your time in and it has helped us to enrich our knowledge. We are very grateful to you, sir. Thank you so much for giving a fruitful presentation to our students. I'm sure there are few students who will be more motivated, who will take something from this presentation and work towards their improvement. Thank you, sir. Very much, sir. You have anything to add, sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have anything to add, sir? You have anything to add?
Nothing else, sir.
Right, sir. I think we'll log out, sir. In that case, we'll end this. Thank you. Thank you.
We will start the session 3 by 3 o'clock.
Yes, sir. I'll send you the link, sir. I'll send you the link.
Yes.
Thank you, participants, for your active participation. Bye.
Thank you.